What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of American Horror Story. This is season 9, episode 7, The Lady in White, 1984. Okay, so I will say that this episode was a little bit better than last week's episode. I don't know, last week I wasn't feeling last week's episode. I really felt like it was a filler episode. Plus, I was a little like, tired, and I knew why I was tired because ladies, y'all know what it is, okay? The monthly, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But like I said, this episode made up for last week's episode because we got a little bit more background onto some stuff, and we got a couple more characters that we have seen in previous seasons of American Horror Story. So it was good to see familiar faces. We saw the daddy from Murder House, okay? The main character, main man from Murder House, the psychiatrist. Is his name Dylan McDermott? Is that his real name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. He played Bruce, okay? And then was it Misty? She was on here too. Okay. So when the episode opens up, it starts off in 1948 and there is a camp. This is Camp Golden Star, okay? And we see these two boys. Okay, first we see this lady. She's giving out the candy or whatever. She's at the concession stand giving out the candy and all that stuff. And then she sees these two boys sitting down there. While everybody else is outside playing, these two boys are sitting at the diner table, whatever, and reading books and just playing with their toys or whatever. She's like, "What's going on? Why y'all just sitting up in here? You should be out there making friends. You should be out there being fun and all this stuff." The bigger of the two, which you could tell is the oldest, he's a little chunky and all that stuff. He basically was like, "Don't nobody like me," all that shit. And then the younger one was like, "Of course, that's true. Don't nobody like him and all that." And just by from that interaction in the way that, you get the vibe from that particular interaction and the way that the mother sat in front of the younger son and took his plate of food. The boy wasn't even eating. Took his plate of food and just cut up his sandwich for him and everything. You could tell who she favored the most, okay? And it was her baby, Bobby, and basically she wanted them to get out there, have some fun, make yourself, telling the older one, quit making yourself look like you don't want nobody to say nothing to you. You got to go out there, you got to make invite people in and all that stuff and woo woo woo. He was reading his magazine Vice and all that stuff. He was like, "That's why you're gonna turn your mind to mud and all this shit." Okay, come to find out, these are Benjamin, aka Mr. Jingles, all right, and his younger brother Bobby. And Bobby wanted to go swimming. And so at this point, the mom was like, "Okay, go out there, go swimming. You keep an eye on him." That was his main thing. You keep an eye on him. And at this point, they go out there and Benjamin is trying to do what his mama said, try to make friends. You see these two girls coming up the steps or whatever, and he was like trying to start a little conversation. He was very awkward with it. He's socially awkward. He's probably most likely he's insecure for the fact that he's a chunkier boy, you know. Um and then you try to talk to these two girls, asking and trying to make conversation. "How was the water?" "It's cold, but with your blubber, I'm pretty sure you'll be warm." I said, "Bitch, you ain't have to do that because look, you ain't all that anyway, okay?" I'm just saying. And so at this point, his little brother comes up and he was like, "Listen, we not going swimming, okay? What we supposed to do?" "Okay, well, you could just sit right here and I'll be right back. Don't do nothing." He sits at the edge of the little dock, okay? All the other kids are leaving. The lifeguard leaves. He's going with this girl. They finna go make out, finna have sex. Benjamin go follows and he watching him. And at this point, we see Bobby taking off his shirt or whatever. He like, "Fuck this shit, I'm finna go into the water." Bobby gets in the water and, Benjamin hears the splash. So he goes over there looking for Bobby. You don't see Bobby. "Bobby, where you at? Where you at?" And then Bobby comes up and he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Next thing you know, it's a boat in the water and it's these two guys on the boat with a motor, okay? Bobby does a backstroke. Okay, he doing a backstroke. So I guess he can't see what's going on. And that boat is directly in the same path as Bobby. And then the boat start moving and you hear the motor and everything. And then you hear Benjamin scream out, "Stop, stop, stop." And then you just hear this crunching sound. Bobby has got his head just in the propeller and everything. And it was just, I was like, I cringed so hard when I seen that. And then, of course, when they pulled the body out the ocean, out the lake, the mom come up and basically was just going off, and she was crying. She was like, you were supposed to be watching him. You were supposed to be watching him. Where's the lifeguard? Where's the lifeguard? Then you see all the other counselors come up. You see everybody just walking, looking around. The lifeguard looking like, I was just in the back. I was just in the back and all this stuff. And she's blaming everyone. And she's all up in Benjamin's face. Like, she's putting all the blame for real on Benjamin. But she blames everybody. And at this moment, this is following the same pattern that happens with these horror movies. Oh, and it's Halloween tomorrow. Okay. This is the same pattern that happens in these movies, especially Jason's. Okay. This is what happened. Whew. Is it another one? I think we're good. I'm sorry. My nose is tickling right now. So usually I sneeze in threes. So it may be two more coming, but you just don't know. But anyway, this is what happened on Jason movies, okay? This is how the first one happened. Jason, he had something a little bit wrong with him. The counselors was at the camp. They was out here doing and playing around with each other, making out, having sex or whatever, not watching him while he drowned. But in this case, the boy got hit by the boat. Okay. And so the mom is upset and she wants to get revenge on all the counselors. And that's what happened when the movies come back. Now, on the first Jason movie, Jason wasn't the killer. The mom was the killer. Jason didn't come in until the second, you know what I'm saying, until after his mom got killed. If you ain't seen Jason, and they've been playing the movie all month, okay, because it's Halloween, it's October, you know what I'm saying, so sorry for you, that ain't no spoiler, everybody know that. But anyway, that was what was going on. So this is what this is mimicking. And then we get back into, the present, which I think is 1989 or whatever. And so this is right after Donna had took Brooke, and she basically took her to this hotel trying to, get the drugs out of her system. She gave her this type of drug that they use for MS, mimic like muscle spasms and stuff like that, to make it seem like, you don't have no brain activity and shit like that. It's a drug, so it's going to be into her system, and she got a detox from that drug. So it's a heavy drug, obviously. She said it's going to take a few days to get out your system and all this stuff. And of course, she don't want nothing to do with Donna, because Donna was playing her. Donna was left her in that woods for Miss Jingle as prey. You know what I'm saying? So she really wasn't here for her. She's trying to feed her. She's trying to hydrate her, all that stuff. But she really wasn't trying to hear it. And at one point, Donna had came back, and we see Brooke looking a little bit better. She's watching TV. Donna come back with some food, and Brooke pulls out the needle that was in her arm that was giving her the hydrating her, whatever, giving her the medicine, water, whatever she need. Not water, but you know what I'm saying. Pulled it out, put Donna against the wall, and was basically like, bitch, what's the point? Okay, why are you trying to be nice to me and all this stuff? Donna said, look, girl, I'm just trying to make up for what I did, because Brooke feels fucked up at the fact that, she'd have missed the rest of the 80s. 80s was out here to be had, and she up here counting all the days that she was up in the jail for the past 5 years, all the times her eyelids and blinked in the past hour or so. And then she sees the newspaper about the festival that's supposed to be happening at Camp Redwood, and she know that it is Margaret, and her whole thing is she want to kill that bitch Margaret. Okay, and I understand that shit, because at this point Margaret's done set her ass up. Margaret set her ass up, and she out here flourishing. Brooke got her innocence taken away from her, her life or whatever, because of all this bullshit. So at this point, Donna was like, you don't need to do all that, but you do need to get out the house. You do need to get out and have some little fun. We can still do some 80s stuff. This is some last thing of the 80s that's still out here. I know a place. So she take her to the skating rink, and they having a good time, whatever. And I really like that. Okay. And I love the fact that they put a skating rink in there, because I looked at this documentary. I think it was either on HBO or Showtime, one of those, and it was called United Skates of America, and just showing how skating rinks all over the country have basically been shut down. Okay, one of the most popular ones that's up still now is Will's The one out there, what is it? Wheels of the World or something like that out there in LA. They shut that down for a minute and they opened it right back up though. So, yeah, that's a popular one. So it was nice to see the homage and the cause we used to go to the skating rink all the time, bitch. We used to go to the skating rink all the time. And then I closed down Rainbow Skating Rink. Oh, the rink. Girl, we used to have some fun time. That used to be the spot. You remember like in ATL? I'm sorry to get off course. But remember, like, you seen the movie ATL and they had Cascades out here, it was the rink / rainbow. Okay, that's what it was. But anyway, you know, it's this guy that's sitting there looking at them. And so, he comes up there and his name is Bruce and he trying to get a ride or whatever. And he finds out because, of course, Brooke says that he going to Camp Redwood. And then he was like, my girlfriend's house is like a couple of stops before that. Could you, give me a ride? And, of course, they didn't have their issues and stuff with hitchhikers and all this other shit that's going on. They're like, fuck this, no ride or whatever. So they go outside. They try to leave in the car. The car won't start up. Bruce just so happened to be right there, and he knows exactly what's going on with the car. And so they start the car up, and he was like, fuck it. They was like, fuck it. You want to get a ride because he was like something about karma. Okay. Karma is a bitch or whatever. Karma always come back. And so this made Donna be like, okay, cool. You can come on and get a ride. And as they pulling out on one of the light stands, the post out there, light post, you see this missing girl poster. And I think it was like 3 or 4 missing girls that was on that poster. And I was like, oh shit. Dude in the back, you and coke and everything. And they talking about the girlfriend and how come you didn't call her if she's just up the road? How come she couldn't just come pick you up? Oh, she don't like to drive. They had this thing where a driver can be driving on the road and then you see this car pull up and he don't have his lights on, so you flash the lights at him on the opposite side and then that makes him do a U-turn and then he start following you home. I said, this is urban legend. This is urban legend. I was like, oh shit, I remember these. Okay. And it was like, that don't happen or whatever. And so they getting this creep vibe, especially Brooke. All right. And she reaches in the bag because she was like, y'all, nigga, you gonna have to get out. Okay. At the end of the road, you gonna have to get out. You trying to put some fear up in my heart. I didn't went through the last 5 years of people trying to control me with fear, and it's just not gonna happen. Okay. You gonna have to get out. Now they had pulled over to the side of the road. She was about to pull that knife out the bag, and then the cop came up behind her. And so she had to close that shit up. And, the cop was like, is everything okay? They was like, yeah, it's cool. And was like, we just picked him up or whatever. And was like, well, don't you know that 4 other girls then went missing and all this stuff? Next thing you know, dude then opened up the door and shot him, the cop. And so at this point, he gets out the car. And so they drive off. And so he go ahead and he finish off the cop. And then next thing you know, we see Donna and Brooke. They at the stoplight behind this truck, and all of a sudden this car pulls up behind them, and it's the cop car, runs right into him. Who is it? Bruce then got the cop car. I said, oh my God, no, you're not finna do this. No, you're not finna do this. Next thing you know, he's going over there. We see Donna is face down into the steering wheel. Brooke is passed the fuck out. Next thing you know, Brooke is in the pickup truck because he done shot the pickup truck driver because he got out the car trying to see what was going on. He done shot him, and so now they in the pickup truck. He got freaking Donna in the back on the floor outside, tied up to the pickup truck by a rope. I'm sitting here like, you know what? I ain't like that scene because they be dragged. That's how they used to do. They in some parts of the country they still be doing that. You still be hearing stories about black people being dragged by white folks and all this stuff or whatever, racists and shit like that. That's what instantly went in my mind. I'm sorry, that's what happened. But anyway, so basically when Brooke wakes up, he up here talking about how he trying to be a serial killer just like Ted Bundy or whatever, he had 13. I didn't kill 5 or whatever. And your choice right about now is to punch the gas and drag your friend, or I kill you. And he giving all the specifics about how at 40 miles it feels like this, at 50 miles the skin comes off like plastic. This comes out, the bones start, just breaking apart, and you're trying not to hit your face and all this stuff, and woo woo woo. And she was like, you know what? I hear what you saying, and for real, she ain't really my friend. Fuck that bitch. So she put her foot on the gas and she revving it up, okay? He was like, what you waiting for? Mind you, he got the shotgun from the sheriff, okay, from the cop. Pointed it all at her. She notices that he has his own gun in his pants in front. Okay, so she punches the gas, but she got the car in reverse. And she sees, at this point, this is when Donna wakes up. Okay, she sees him coming and she just lays flat, and the car goes right on top of her, don't hit her or nothing. And then they stop the car. Brooke pulls his gun and then shoots him in the thigh. Okay, that could have hit that femoral artery. Okay, that's what he could, and let that nigga bleed out. And so at this point, he gets out the car. Donna gets up there trying to choke him out, and Donna was about to kill him. Brooke was like, no, don't do that, not yet. He was like, I ain't finna let him get away with this and all this stuff. It was like, oh, we not about to. They tied him up against a pole. Okay, cut both his fingers off. Said his thumbs off. Said you ain't gonna do no hitchhiking out here. I was like, okay, please shoot him again so he can bleed out faster. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, Brooke was gonna go ahead and walk over there to Redwood, because she was like, I'm almost there. You don't have to worry about me. But then at this point, Donna changes her mind and said, look, wait, I'll go with you. I was like, girl, I would have went home. I would have went home, because Donna really trying to make up for what she did. She said she knew a guy that can do a passport and let Brooke get her life back and all that stuff, go live her life overseas or whatever. But girl, I. After all of that, no girl, no girl. Okay. Meanwhile, back at the camp, um, what's his face? Jingle/Benjamin, he done came back to the camp because he needs to see Ramirez. He trying to get him so he can end this whole stuff, because he's still reeling from the fact that he done came and killed his son's mother. Okay, his wife. And so at this point, he sees the 3 guys. Well, the big guy that was playing him the at the beginning of the season, okay? And then the other 2 that he killed, they come to find out he's like their ghost, and Montana said you can't kill, so they wasn't gonna kill him, and they trying to figure out what's going on. Now, all the other counselors, you got Chet, Ray, Montana, Xavier, and everybody else, they're all there trying to explain to him what's going on. And of course, Ray is upset because Jingles cut his head off, and they telling him about the feelings that they do have. They do feel pain, they do feel pleasure, emptiness and longing and all this stuff, and woo woo woo. And it was like, the only thing is that the only thing that's messed up about being dead right about now, and we got to keep on staying here, is the fact that we need this. They want to start killing all the people at this festival, okay? And it was like, if they start killing everybody at this festival, that happens. That's what they waiting on. This means that it's going to bring more attention to the camp. More paranormal people going to come up in there, and they probably going to figure out a way to get the spirits out of there, because they trying to figure out how is it that they are trapped here. How is their spirit and their ghosts, they're trapped there, okay? And so at this point, they start talking about, it's this one particular woman that keep on it's somebody else in this woods that keep on following them, keep on trying to come after them, and she a scary little bitch. I'm scared of her, And so they figure out who it is. Jingles was like, that's my mama. All right. Come to find out, he gives the story about the whole thing with Bobby and all this stuff, and how she already knew, he knew that his mama didn't love him. Okay. And we get backstory on the mama and how she came to work at the camp. The mom, it's 1940s, okay? So I'm pretty sure it's like World War One, no, World War Two, okay? And so he had to go out to the war. Your family, your husband go out to the war. The husband get killed. So now she's a widow. She has to figure out how to make a living for the kids. Now, you got this opening to be a chef or a cook at this camp. It's free room and board. You get a babysitter. It's a babysitting site too. So hey, you can't do nothing but help, but take it, okay? Because at this point you don't have no other choice. And she hated there, and he already knew that Bobby was her favorite. Okay, couldn't stand Benjamin, and so when Bobby died, you know, she kind of lost it, and they showed her in the middle of the night just killing all the counselors. Okay, and then Benjamin saw her, and instead of coming to her, he ran away from her, and she had tried to attack him, stabbed him in the leg. I said, oh, when that knife went in his leg, I said, oh my goodness. And then he wound up having to kill his own mama. So her soul and her spirit is stuck there. And so he was feeling like that's the reason why this campground is cursed. So Xavier wound up taking him to where she's at. And when she finally appeared, she was saying how she couldn't see Bobby. Okay. But basically, that whole conversation was, I don't like you. In the whole sense, this whole thing was going on because the mom is holding a grudge against her oldest son, okay, that she never liked. And I'm wondering, do she not like him because the son reminds her of the dad that's no longer there, or what? They never really, unless I missed it, it never really said exactly why the mother did not like Benjamin, okay? And she basically saw this whole time, because Camp Golden Star, that was the name of the Camp Redwood before it became Camp Redwood. And so at this point, she saw him when he was first there with Margaret, and how he was fawning over Margaret. She knew that. This whole time she was like, I felt empty inside. And then all of a sudden I felt this primal urge, like, I felt my child, I felt my baby. But then when I realized who it wasn't Bobby, it was your ass, okay? And you fawning over this girl. And so what I had to do was take the one thing that you loved and used it against your ass. She spoke some shit up into Margaret's ears while she was asleep, and that's what made her turn crazier and do what she did. I said, girl, so you just pissed off at your son, so you set this whole thing up and was like, your son gonna be a loser like you if he don't need a person like you in his life, and all this stuff, and woo woo woo. And then later at the end of the episode, well, we see Margaret. Okay. Margaret basically was trying to get the whole thing together with the camp, making sure all the stuff is together. One of the bands get there, and then Ramirez shows up to one of the leaders of the band and basically was like, you made a deal with the devil, so therefore I'm coming to collect, okay? So he wound up killing him, and then the little assistant go on the bus later that day or the next day and see that everybody that came with the band, they dead on the bus, okay? Including the lead singer. And so with this going on, we go back to Benjamin sitting on the dock of the lake, and his mom does appear to him. It was basically like, the reason why you here, you trying to get Ramirez and stop this, you made us deal with him, okay? And basically he here to collect on that, and either if he kills you at this point, if he kills you, you just gonna be dead. But if you kill yourself, you gonna stay here, okay? If somebody else kills you on this ground, you gonna still be here, and that's better for your son and all that stuff. You don't want to have him cursed and all that, because even if you dead, he's still gonna come back after your son and shit like that. So now he wouldn't be able to touch you and all this stuff. Benjamin wound up being like, listen, mama just left, okay? Mama just left. Mama doing mind tricks, but mama also trying to look out for him at the same time. You say that you don't like your son, and you give him that option knowing that he's going to take the option to stay in Camp Redwood. You don't like him, but you still want him to be there with you somehow, because his spirit still is going to be there. You're still going to see him if he kill himself there. And that's exactly what he does. He hollers out, Bobby, I miss you. I want to tell you that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I cursed you. I will never do that to my son. He even named his son after him or whatever. And then he took the knife and he stabbed himself in the stomach. And he killed himself, and he was just standing over his own body. And that was how the episode ended. I was like, oh, okay. So next week we're gonna see how that shit goes. Y'all tell me how y'all felt about this episode. If I missed anything, I am tired, so I feel like I missed a couple of things, but if not, just put it down in the comments. Y'all tell me how y'all think that this season is gonna end. And how do you think that it's going so far? I will be 100% honest. This is not one of my favorite seasons. Okay, I was really really hyped for this because it was giving me the horror movie tease and everything, and that's one of my favorite genre. Campy 1980 movies or whatever. I said that before, and I mean it's cute or whatever, but I want more. I want more. It's not going the way that I thought. But y'all tell me how y'all feel, and I will see y'all later. Peace.